Hey guys, me again, Orchler. What if where I last left off? Let's see. Checking. Samson's here again. Yeah, I never told you his name, did I? His name's Samson. I see you too. And there's another dog. She's right there. Yes. Huffing, puffing. But anyways, where I last left off, well, where I left off, Blood Angel Successor chapter, found some of the wing feathers from the Chaos, the Zeech worshippers. They attacked their little cruiser, or whatever they were using, and, you know, pretty much invaded it with their torpedo boats. And so when they finished invading it, the leader of the little war band, you could call it, fled away by channeling his psychic energies into Deku's wing feathers, and so he teleported. They finished off by analyzing and wanting to take it as a relic back to Ball. I believe is the system. You know what? I could change it to the lamenters. Instead of taking it, they're taking them as relics. They will see if it's truly a relic of Sanguinius or just another knockoff thing, as these lamenters are returning to Ball. I don't have any timeline yet for them. As you know, the world outside of warp space is very confusing. So the lamenters could either be during their penance crusade, or they could just be during the time when they were some of the warders for the Maelstrom. For the Maelstrom, I believe it was, forget which, the Maelstrom Warders? It's one of the Warders, something like that. But anyways, as I digress. Cut back to Deku, and right now, he is speaking with the captain about the whole situation with the whole Slaanesh, like entire Slaanesh cult, or a section of it, popping up and turning in high level party into just one of the Slaanesh's forms of parties. Excuse me. Seeing no reason not to listen to Deku, he listens intently, as then Deku goes on to tell him about the people that they saved, and that the librarian that they brought along with them said that there were no indications of being corrupted. Seems like they were the only ones who weren't corrupted. As he put it, that the Slaanesh cult sort of spoke to him as they got details from Momo and her family, saying that it was repressed desires. And that's how it pretty much ended, as the captain's rubbing his face thinking, and again, none of them really wear helmets while they're around the ship, since they see no reason to. As they're thinking, they're like, this could be troubling, Deku. Slaanesh cult popping up here out of nowhere? I fear we may have brought more than just ourselves to this world. We may have opened a bigger tear, you could say, so that others may easily end up here. I agree. As Deku says, that's why I think we should probably try, at least slowly but surely, to reveal ourselves at least a tiny bit. As Nevron's like, Deku won't be that simple. Plus, the Inquisitor and such, what about him? He's like, well, the Templar may want to execute them as mutants. As Deku says, if they come to that, we will end them. Black Templar doesn't dictate what happens to this world. None of us do. But it is our duty as Space Marines to protect it, is it not? As Nevron's like, that is a good point, Deku. As all of them are talking amongst each other, this is also brought up. What about the Imperial Creed? Is what one of the sergeants, you could say, of one of the squad brings up. Well, this is a different question. As Deku says, if I may say my piece here, it's like, yes, you may. I don't believe we should bring the Imperial cult to this world. It's like, why not? It's like, Deku personally being biased somewhat in this suggestion, why do we hate aliens, mutants, and I understand heretics, but why do we hate them, like the aliens? He's like, we have been completely destroyed in several locations by Xenos. What about the Eldar? He's like, every now and then. The Eldar sometimes stick to their own thing. Sometimes they're aggressor, sometimes they're passive. Depends on the circumstance, though. Other races we have come into conflict with over and over again. As Deku goes on to state, the Greenskins, Tau, I believe the Tau were found out by this point. As he goes over a list of creatures as they're like, has a point. If there are aliens in this universe, we may want to do well to befriend them instead of killing them, Captain. It's like, yes, indeed. As Amagos speaks to Deku, asking about, what about technology? As Deku would say, what about it? It's like, are you gonna have us stop in... Well, you can't stop you from praising the Omnisaya, as you would put it. But you also believe in not developing any technology. I feel as though this world would not accept that. Then pretty much it just says, then we will not share the technology, as it's like, you can't just hold technology. This is about more than just about personal beliefs. It's about the survival of this planet while we're on it. As the tech priest goes silent. This is another matter for another time being, but I would like to petition to assign guards to the Yaoyorozu, as he says it, the Yaoyorozu family, for at least the time being, till we can be sure that the Chaos Force won't, if there were any survivors, and I highly doubt it, would come after them again. As a captain, everyone's like, who did you send with them? I sent 3 Marines with them. The Marines would be, each Marine was assigned to a single person. They will be defended. It's like, then it seems there's no problem here. The power pack, we may have to set up assembly things. But then Deku goes on to say, Mr. Yaoyorozu, before we departed, said that he owed us a great deal, or me at least. I think this could be a way for many of the things each of you want to come out of this. Magos, yes, or whatever rank it is. Asked the question about, you said that you wish to get Tech Priest into higher levels when it comes to evolving technology. It's like, yes. Well, Mr. Yaoyorozu, I don't know him much, but he seems like a businessman. It may be possible for us to get people into companies through him. Wouldn't you agree? As Magos scratches his chin, he's like, this is acceptable. And he would also give us other access to buying us and getting us funds. It would be a great deal. As a Tech Priest and the other Space Marines around him start talking, like, good point. He's like, very well. We will promise Mr. Yaoyorozu safety. While they are under our protection, we will keep them safe for as long as possible. But the Marines will be kept inside, you could say. Mr. Yaoyorozu, Mrs. Yaoyorozu, and their daughter, Momo Yaoyorozu, will be defended for as long as we can grant it to them. It's like, what about the times when they're not within our safety, is what Deku says. He's like, that's another time being. Well, I guess the Tech Priest, could you assign some servo skulls to defend them. Servo skulls could take down anything, almost. We have well, not just just servitors in general. So talk about how there's some robots that they have that would make use of this and using them against enemies, especially if they attach weaponry. So that is what they do. But following this, we head over to Momo and them as they're talking amongst each other, as then eventually they hear a zap as Deku has teleported in. As Mr. Yaoyorozu stands up and goes to shake Deku's hand, Deku reaches out and shakes it. As Mr. Yaoyorozu, so you'll be defended by a chapter, but they wish to have you promise a few things in return. So anything you've done, saved my family, everything. As it's alright, sit down, this is a list of their demands. 1. We have what we call Tech Priest with us. They wish to be in the world of technology to see how far you've come and developed. As from what I can remember, we must not advance crazily. They want to help us boost that a little along the ways. We need forged IDs in place to send them. I know you're a businessman, so I concluded that you'd have some, at least, connections into the technology world. It's yes, be it support items or ongoing development. It's very good. As for defending your family, we'll have Marines stationed here. You'll be guarded 24/7. Or, well, while you are here, you'll be guarded 24/7. But on the outside of this place, since we can't just let, as he points to them, walk around in daylight. So, what we will do is we'll send these. As Deku shows them what a servitor is, as it's these will be programmed specially to defend you, as well as there will be a controller here that they will stay here and control the servitors. You'll be getting 4 each. It's 4. It's they're equipped with weaponry, and they will be able to be fast enough to take a bullet for you if it comes to it. These are what we're giving you, and these is what we demand. But we would also, another thing would be materials, funds and such that you'll bring here, then we'll take to them. It's it would be much easier if we could just send it directly to you. Yes and no. We have recently returned to this world. It'll be much easier for us to lay low for a little while. So I see, Mr. As he said, Lord, as Deku would say, he is no lord. Just a humble servant of mankind. As it's thank you, sir. As Deku just says, call me Sir Deku. And what do we refer to them? You may refer to them as... I'll let them tell you what. As they just say that I am battle brother, so and such and such and such, and on and on. As Deku excuses himself as he has to return home, as he's homeschooled since he doesn't want to be stuck in a normal school. As he actually very quickly gets to a high school level, actually exceeds high school level and is already working on college. As it's the mathematics and blah 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 blah. Again, sorry for the blah 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 blah. As Deku returns home, he's oh father, what are you doing here? It is a day off. I wanted to return. Hang out for a bit. Deku's As Deku thinks about this, he used to spar with his father. He knows he's exceeded his father in skill, but he would still like to fight him, because he believes his father is the best space marine when it comes to fighting. But he isn't it would take multiple space marines to challenge him, actually, to somewhat of an even fight. It would take 10 or so marines, I would say, is a pretty decent number. It's nowhere near a Primarch, and I'm pretty sure it's nowhere near... yeah, it's nowhere near a Primarch. So I'd say make it like 15 Marines is what it takes to take him. You could say, like, to overwhelm him in a way. As Deku speaks with his father even more, Deku and his father just go on and on talking throughout the day. As we skip 1 week later, Sato comes over. Well, it's actually, Sato is gone, you could say. Like, it's the summer break, I'll say. And so, or some form of break. And so what happens is that, nope, nothing new. Sato is going out with a nice day with his family as they go camping. Sato and them are hanging out and having a nice day, as Izumi is back with Deku and her family listening. Damn it. Couldn't resist yawning. I've been pushing it down for a little while. But, nah, dang it, didn't pause it. That's water. As Deku and Izumi are speaking, they hear So like, what is that? As occurrences of the warp are going to be picking up again. Deku and Izumi rush over and look at what? As it's like, where's that? As Izumi's like, oh shoot. As it, what is it? That's where Sato and his family are hanging out. They went to go visit his parents that live in the country. Deku's like, armor up, armor up. As they rush over and like strap on their armor and such, Deku's like, I must go. Well, actually, he has his armor here. So as he gets his armor on nice and quickly, he's like, as he's looking around, he sees, his spear is here, but it's like not the quickest, like the thing that's closest to him. So as he's looking around, as he grabs a power mace, or just a mace in general, as he grabs it, he's like, this will do. And grabbing a plasma gun, as he's like, I forget how much stuff comes through the warp that we just picked up. She's like, yeah, we've gotten quite a bit more. Dad had to add an extension to the basement. As he's like, there's more? She's like, oh, there's way more. As Deku grabs the mace, the plasma weapon, as he's like, as he sees a shield, as he grabs it as well, as it's from, well, it's just a shield. It's like, specifically, you want specifics, it's from the Ultramarines. As he's like, this will work. So they run through and teleport. He's like, alright, let's hurry along. As we cut back 10 or 15 to 10 minutes before, as Sato and all of them are like, yeah, it's fine, guys. It's like, so, how's that Izumi girl? As he's like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, we hear from your mom how you two are such great friends. But is there anything more to it? As he's like, no, not at all. Really? It's like, yes, trust me, Grandma. As they're like, alright, dearie, I won't press you on it. But still, it should be something you should think about. As then there's a little sound as they're like, what is that? As they look over and see the portal. As it's like, Grandma, oh, you stay back, is what Sato's dad says as he walks over. As then they see something drop. As what it is as they're like a chain axe? What the hell? As he goes over to pick it up, he's like, this is as big as Grandma. As Sato's like, well, Sato said that, and his dad's like, yeah. So he picks it up, he's like, damn, this thing's heavy. It's like, it has teeth on it. It's like, yeah, don't, as he presses something, as it goes, like a chainsaw, as it revs up, as he's like, what the shit? As he drops it and quickly falls backwards. As then they just hear, ah. As then it's a slam, and a couple more slams to the ground. As it's like, what the hell? So they look up. One of the warriors look up as he's like breathing in and out very rapidly. As he says, blood for the blood god. Actually, I'll pause it right here.
as it goes, blood for the blood god, as another one screams, skulls for the skull thrones, as then another says, corn does not care from which the blood flows.
Nice little rhyme. But anyways, as these three Marines, one of them, actually two of them stay back as they're like, what the hell? And then the other one starts charging forward as Sato's like, oh crap, Dad ain't gonna be able to take him. As he's like, as he sort of reaches next to him, as there's like a thing of sugar for they were eating some sweet stuff. Sato like grabs it and dumps it down, or like a bit of cake, as he's like, no, as he goes, do. As he sees like a little tree thing next to him, or actually he sees like a giant tree that's somewhat there. As with Izumi there, I would say that he probably trains with her a bit, so he may be actually quite a bit more muscular than he was in the original. As he grabs this fallen tree, dang it, the water went down the wrong pipe. Alright, there we go, better. Just had a coughing fit. As he grabs it and swings it, as he sort of Kratos style, as he grabs it, swings it around, and it shatters on him. And the Marine actually goes quite a bit back, as the other Marines stop from laughing and look as they see their brother smash into into like a tree behind him. He's staggered actually, as he's like, ugh. As his like eyes are like glazed over, as it typically goes, he lets out like a scream of his own, as the other ones are like, yeah, as they charge forward. As they go to start swinging at him, but with his like extreme buff, he actually starts throwing punches at one, as the other one actually still kind of stunned. As he goes to swing his chain axe, but Sato pretty much just punches it, actually somewhat breaking it in half. I'll say that's probably a bit too much. He punches it when the Space Marine actually loses his grip somewhat, as it goes to go fall, but it's connected by the chain, as a World Eater has it. As he sort of like loses his grip, as then he's going to regain it, he goes to punch Sato, but Sato actually is able to grab his arm somewhat. As Sato is very strong, like I said. As he's like, as he can't pick him up, but he can sort of lift him somewhat. As he gets him off balance, Sato goes to try and take him down through his legs, as he kicks his legs, as his boots are steel toe, I'll say, something like that. So he kicks it, his boot dents inward, as he feels the pain in his foot, but he doesn't care at the moment. He simply grabs him and tries to hold the Chaos Marine by the back, as he's like, ain't gonna work. As he goes to sort of try and roll and try to toss him around, again, he's too heavy for that, so he's sort of mixed. As the, what would be, looked at more, it's like, Space Marine weighs close to 600 pounds in armor, over 600 pounds, and it says Sato's strength is increased 5-fold when he eats the sugar. 10 grams of sugar, I believe, is the exact amount. It extends for 3 minutes. Like, that's how long his power can be active. So, I'll go ahead and say 5-fold. Well, let's just say he can lift up the Space Marine, alright. As he lifts him up and sort of throws him over his shoulder. As the Space Marine's like, what the? Like, for a second, like, out of his blood rage, he's like, what the? As he's legitimately confused that this smaller creature, inferior being as he would call him, just picked him up and threw him. And I'll say now his weapon is actually broken in half. As the Space Marine lets out like a roar, unlike any other, Sato is caught off guard when the next Marine rushes in with a normal sword and slices right across his chest. As the Space Marine says, "The blood flows! The blood flows freely!" Going to strike again, but Sato barely dodges it. he's barely keeping up with these two, as Sato and Sato's family is wanting to go in and help. As the other Marine has finally recovered and starts rushing in, as Sato is outnumbered 3-1 and is quickly being overwhelmed as he's being stabbed and he has a slash here and there. As it's like, as father wants to come. Where was I? Oh, yes. As he's being overwhelmed, Sato's family's about to rush in, but then they hear zzz, as in a smash. As then they see interruption. Sorry. But as they see the two figures standing there, as the Coordinate Marines take a second to look over, as Marines are very confused, but they're also very bloodthirsty. As then they see deku, as they would describe it as winged person with smaller person. As Izumi sees Sato, as Sato is bloodied and it looks like some of his organs are not organs, but it looks like he's pretty badly bleeding. So he was just about to be killed. As the Marines had him up, like ready to chop off his head, as they're looking at him, they like turn their heads, as then they see, as they would describe it, more worthy opponents, as they just drop him, as he just falls limp to the ground, as Izumi's like, "You bastards," as she's like, "You bastards," as she then launches like a torrent of psychic electricity or lightning. As then Deku says, "Corny berserkers, they're the worst," as he jumps down and starts rushing at him. With his maul and shield, they're like, "Blood for the blood god," going on and on. As it's like, "Blood for the blood god." As Deku says, "I am a shield for humanity," as he takes his mace and smashes one in the head. As, like I said, he towers over normal, typical Space Marines. As he smashes one head, as the head goes flying off, as then Izumi rushes forward, enhancing her abilities with her psychic. She immediately stabs one, as then it goes to like swing at her. She then dodges and cuts off his arm and then slices right through its neck. As the last one, who is the one that was knocked out, lets out a scream as he rushes forward, sort of slamming his two axes into Deku's shield. As the teeth are starting to dig into the shield, Deku drops the shield, takes out the plasma gun in one swift motion, and says, "Die, heretic," blasting away this heretic's face, as the helmet completely melts from Deku overcharging it. As then Izumi stops, like calming down for a moment, as she looks over and sees Sato, she immediately rushes over, going to check on her friend. As then Deku looks over to their family, as they all start to go towards Sato, Deku takes a stance and says, "Who are you?" As it's like, "Oh, that's their family, dumbass." As she's like, "Come on, Sato, come on." Deku walks over, like looking at him. He's like, "Oh dear. He will not survive to make it to the hospital. Izumi, use your psychic powers to try and stop the bleeding. The rest of you will come with me." They go to follow Deku. They will not deny this angel that appeared before them. As Deku teleports them all, as they teleport to his house, as then they teleport Sato immediately to the Lamenter's ship. As you guys may think this is happening a bit too fast, I can't think of a lot of filler. Like, I can think of some, but not a lot. I feel like I'd just be delaying and delaying until you guys grew bored of it. But as we skip over to them, like, rushing Sato into the medical bay, they talk about how he was attacked by Coordinate Berserkers and was able to fend off 3 of them for a short period of time. As the Space Marines around them hear what they said, and he's like, "That is quite impressive. Even one Space Marine has difficulty fending off the average Space Marine has difficulty fending off 3 Khornate Berserkers. But he was unarmored and unaugmented too, and only using his hands. This boy is quite something. As one of them remembers that there are quirks in this world, what is his quirk? It's like, as Izumi states it, that it's Sugar Rush. As he listens to it, it's like, what? She explains that like his power explodes 5-fold whenever he consumes sugar and activates his quirk. As they're like, this is quite a good quirk, if I would say so myself. They talk amongst each other as Deku listens in, as he's like, quirk that explodes 5-fold when it augments his muscle. As he thinks about it, he's like, As he leaves saying, I'll leave you to it. As it's like, you two, as he has some jurisdiction over Marines, please guard my sister. I fear the Templar and the Inquisitor may try something. Regardless. It's like, do you truly believe them so stupid, sir? It's like, I truly do. Keep them safe, alright? He's like, yes, sir. She's your sister and we'll defend her with our life. Thank you. It's like, yes, sir. They walk away, knowing that Deku has some important business to attend to, as Izumi watches as Sato is worked on to like be healed. Deku goes to talk with the apothecary, saying that, if I may ask, apothecary, you are in charge of putting new recruits through the process of becoming Space Marines, correct? It's like, yes, I am. I give them the Dean Seed and everything. What of it? He's like, in this world, you won't be able to rely on the children of the crew forever. This is correct? It's like, something I've thought of, yes. What of it? Like, what if I were to tell you we had a promising new recruit? As Deku does think highly of Sato in the short time he's known him, he's looking out for the best thing for the Lamenters as well, seeing that this could be a great thing for them as to get another recruit, promising recruit at that. So with that, they go on and listen as he explains Sato's quirk, as he's like, that is truly an impressive quirk, as you would put it. If we were to give him the muscles, who knows how he could possibly exceed a Dreadnought strength. It's like, that's what I was thinking as well. Going along with Deku's idea, he would say we could ask him when he wakes up, but his age would be difficult for the process, Deku. You see this? He's like, yes, I do. That's why I would say as I know you can grow genetic organs and such, and use donations, you could say. What if I were to tell you we could use his muscles, the thing. His organs and everything would be combined with it. It's like, alright, that wouldn't seem too far off. But what about Gene Seed? We're a bit low on Gene Seed, as you would know. As Deku said, I would donate mine. As you know, as you've scanned me before, my Gene Seed is all grown. For some reason, mine grew in much quicker than the rest. But I don't think it would regrow like as fast. You see what I mean? He's like, I do. So you believe you would be willing to give this initiate, as this would-be initiate, your Gene Seed? It's like, yes, I would. My sister thinks highly of him, very highly of him, in fact. I believe he would be a great candidate. It's like, we'll ask the boy when he wakes up, and we'll have to deal with his family as well. It's like, indeed. Thank you for listening to me, apothecary. It's like, you are welcome, Deku. Now return to your sister. I'm sure she must be worried. Yes, she would be. Thank you, apothecary, again. It's like, stop thanking me and get on with it. As then we go over to another site. As it's like, another person has teleported. As he's looking around like, where am I? Seeing forest and other things around him, he starts wondering, where in the warp did I go? Where in Zinch's name am I? As he's looking around, he starts walking. As then he feels a boom, boom, boom. As it's like, what? Then he hears a noise. Well done, Gigantomachia. As it's like, Master is very... As it's like, Master is proud of me. It's like, very proud indeed. But I need you... But I would like to know more about the ongoings. He's like, nothing much, Master. Just as then there's the snap. As it's like, hang on. As Gigantomachia says, who's there? As the sorcerer walks forward, he's like, whoa. As he looks up at this giant of a being, he's like, ooh, what the? Speaking clearly, he says, I'll let you guys come up with a name for the sorcerer. It seems like a good thing to do. As he states his name, saying, that states his name, as it's like, as All For One says, he's like, his language is weird. As the sorcerer tries to read Gigantomachia's mind, as he's able to get into it somewhat, and is somewhat able to listen to his thoughts, as he translates them through his words through Gigantomachia after he tried speaking in Gothic a bit more. As he uses the words Gigantomachia to translate, as it's like, so... Well, I don't think you're in Kansas anymore, sorcerer. But you seem useful. As the guy doesn't understand what he's saying either. But he uses, again, Gigantomachia to translate. As he says, useful? Why would I serve you, whoever you are? As then he's like, I easily surpass you in strength. Watch it. As he would go to call him boy, he's like, as he states how old he is, as All For One says, I'm older than you by at least 75 years, I'll say, because I'm pretty sure All For One's like close to 100, maybe 200 years old. Let's say the sorcerer is 70 to 100. So, like 75 to 100. As it's like, he is older than me. Shit. As then he listens closely as then they move on. As he's like, very well, send this Kurigiri so that we may talk in person. It's like, it is done. And that's where I want to end this one off at. I hope you guys have enjoyed.